Hello everyone, and welcome back to Shadowrun Dragonfall with TJ and me, John. Um, we are back here at the old safe house, gonna meet up with Paul, see what he wants, because he sent us a message when he got back into town, and he wants to talk. So, what's up, Paul? Let's have that chat. What you want, bro? TJ Hooker, welcome back. I have news for you. In your absence, I have been looking into the Harfeld Manor. Whatever Fjordstring is up to, it is both large-scale and well-funded. I've uncovered a money trail leading from holding companies all over the world to an offshore fund with a dummy address. From there, all that freshly laundered money flows directly into the Harfeld estate. Wait a second. Why would the dragon have investors? That doesn't make sense. It's doubtful the Fire Ring's pawns even know where their money is going. This is typical of draconic plots. Uncover a stream of money flowing behind the scenes, and there's a fair chance you'll find the dragon at the receiving end of it. To a dragon, conspiracy is second nature. But Fjordstring was different. She didn't scheme or plot, she acted. That's true. Yes, and look at where it got her. When the Fire Ring launched her attack on humanity, it was an act of hubris. She lashed out because she didn't consider our species to be a threat. It would be equally hubristic for us to assume she would make the same mistake twice. I will continue digging into this while you and the team tackle your next run. With luck, I will have more information to share upon your return. Well, sounds good, Giles, Paul. Oh my god. Giles. Thanks, Giles. One last thing, TJ Hooker. Malit was able to restore the readable surface of one of Green Winter's DVDs. If you'd like to take a look, you will find it sitting beside the player. And now that I've named it, I can no longer at all do an accent. Not that I was at all succeeding before, but it's gotten worse, everyone. Okay, well, it wasn't even an accent to begin with. I'll check it out. Very good. Malit is still working on the other DVDs from the bundle. Many of them are extensively damaged, and getting anything off of them is proving to be quite a chore. She told me she'll be in touch if and when she makes any headway. Okay, thanks, Paul. I think we're done trying and failing horribly to do any kind of a semblance of an accent with you. Giles. The media tray of the DVD player slides out of its battered plastic case. Load the DVD labeled Watch Me? No, the second DVD, I think, is the one we want to do. Right? Or is this the one we already watched? Oh. Alright, as I said in my last recording, I've been having trouble finding hard facts on Fjordstring, so I thought I'd open up things a bit. Let's see what the rumor mill has to say. The screen jumps, and Green Winters appears in a different location. He is now clutching a mug of soy calf in both hands, and there are bags under his eyes. Well, that was enlightening. Assuming that any of it is true, that is. So, for the past 5 hours, I've been poking around some of the crazier fringe theories related to the dragons and the socks. As a reminder, the socks is an irradiated wasteland between France and Germany. It got zoned off back in '08, after the Catnum Gal reactor meltdown. Anyway, there are all kinds of rumors floating around about the place. I've heard stories about a walled city in there that operates around the survival of the fittest, kill or be killed basis. Sort of like a nightmare version of Berlin. All of the anarchy, none of the stability the F-state provides. The radiation poisoning, cancer, and mana pollution are just the icing on the cake. So, when Adrian helped the Luftwaffe shoot down Fjordstring, she crashed into the socks. That much is well known. What isn't as well known are all of the modern-day myths that have arisen about her since. And tonight, I've heard an earful. I chatted up a girl who claimed to be a ghost rat. That's a smuggler that operates in the socks. She told me that a dragon cult called the Disciples of the Cleaning Fire. She told me about this cult. Apparently, those cultists worship some sort of radioactive ghost dragon. Could be Fjordstring, could be nothing, but it's worth digging into all the same. Another thing that my little ghost rat told me, the popular rumor in the socks is that Fjordstring's astral form was, I guess you'd say, mutated by all that background radiation. Some of the glowpunks out there say she shed her body like an old coat. Others say she's trapped, doomed to languish as an intangible radioactive ghost. I don't know how much credence to give any of this. After all, I don't have any proof. My ghost rat is even a ghost rat. She may be, but then she could just be another run-of-the-mill glowpunk, or maybe she's just yanking my chain, and she's never been to the socks at all. Who knows? Well, it's food for thought. Anyway, I don't know whether the thought of some radioactive ghost dragon thing is any scarier than a genuine dragon is, but it's interesting all the same. Now the question is, will any of this get me any closer to finding Adrian? I'm going to go on a limb and say no, but you never can tell. Okay. Track 2? Let's see. Alright, let's continue thinking outside the box. After the Dragonfall, the great dragon Kaltenstein came flying into the Socks to rescue the Firewing. But he was driven off, some say killed, by Lofweir and Nebelhair. So what if there's another dragon involved in all of this? Alright, so let's run down a list of major dragons that could be helping her. First, there's the Golden Worm Lofweir, that's CEO of Saderkrupp, and possibly the single most dangerous being on Earth. Lofweir's a local boy, so he'd be in a position to help Fierschwing. He certainly has the financial capability to help her. He could send a small army into the Socks if he wanted to. So he's definitely got the means. But I can't see how he'd have the motive. He actively prevented the Firewing's rescue back in 2012, after all. Same thing is true for Nebelhair, so let's scratch both of them off the list. We've got Aiden, the Great Sarush. He's operating out of Turkey. By all accounts, he's not a fan of Lofweir. They're actively competing for territory in the Middle East, so I suppose that could be considered motive. Reviving the Firewing might cause problems for the Golden Worm. But why would he risk a war with Saderkrupp by straying into Lofweir's territory? Again, I don't think it's likely. There's Keladair, out in Wales. He's pretty heavily invested in Transys Neuronet, so he's got the money. But he's too busy dealing with the BTL killer scandal that Transys is going through out in London to get his claws dirty in the Socks. Dunkelzan out in UCAS. No, this is a waste of time. The more I think about it, the more convinced I am Firewing is acting alone. Dragons don't cooperate unless they absolutely have to. After all, why bother making nice with your equals when you've got an entire planet full of pawns at your disposal? They don't need to work together. They have us to exploit. Okay, let's hit track 3. It's clearly corrupted. The screen fills with a meaningless stream of text. Ugh. Well, that was useful. Okay. This file is partially garbled. You recognize a few words here and there, but they're interspersed amidst a solid block of corrupted text. Vauclair, still my big bruh. I still searching Firewing. Swear to Adrian, I guess. I will find you. It's the last old something. Swear to new research. Turning up. Don't know something. Files corrupted. More meaningless shit. And files corrupted. Oh, the screen goes black and the same digital chime that you heard on the Dragonfall DVD plays again. A crackle of static fills the air, followed by that same now familiar electronic whine. A few moments later, the display goes live. Hermie, it's me. I can't sleep. I don't know where you are. Not having fun, no doubt. Maybe flirting with those unattainable beauties you're always chasing. It's good. I want you to live a pleasant, normal life. After all, one of us should. I can still smell the smoke, Hermie. It's almost a year later, and I can still taste the stench of burning corpses. When I sleep, I can hear the sirens and the screams. There's no sound in this world as horrible as a burn victim screams. The doctors call this PTSD, I'm sure. They'd have me in therapy, maybe dose me up on SSRIs like they do to our veteran soldiers. Quite a story for the tabloids. The great dragon slayer, Adrien Vauclair, mentally incapable of wrestling with his own demons. No. No therapy for me, and certainly no medication. I have a reputation to live up to, however poorly deserved it is, and however little I want it. The dragon is still alive, Hermie. Of that I am certain. One day I will find her, and then perhaps I'll be able to sleep through the night. Well, we've seen enough. Let's eject that DVD. We're done here, TJ. Jeez, that was kind of heavy, actually. Let's see, does Dietrich have anything to say now about Alexander? And what just happened? How's Alexander holding up? Really came through for me, boss. You ever need anything from me, anything at all, you can call on me, and I'll come running. Alright, well, how's Alexander holding up? He's a good kid, that nephew of mine. Give him some time, he'll shake Stahl's programming. It might take a while, but he'll adjust to life here in the Cruise Bazaar. In the meantime, I found a good home for him. Samuel's agreed to take him in. Oh, that's excellent. Is that wise, though? Because as ex-Humanis, they probably won't like him. Best thing for the kid will be to learn through immersion. If he stays in Samuel's group, he'll have no choice but to interact with metahumans. Soon enough, he'll learn they're no different than anyone else. Few days will be rough, though. First few days. He'll make it through. Come out the other side a better man for it. Oh, he seems like a tough kid, so I don't doubt you're right. You're a good man, boss. On to other things. Remember what I was telling you about before we climbed into the van? Yeah, you were saying the Dragon Slayer was happy and you'd be given a reward. I did want to hear about this. Please tell me more. Thanks to our, let's not mince words, heroic actions back in that swine pit, the Dragon Slayer seemed fit to grant me his favor. And now I know what that means and what I can do with it. Well, don't keep me in suspense. This. As you watch, the spot where Dietrich is pointing begins to glow. Lines of force sprout in a scintillating web, and feeling of raw power suffuses your body. I've just torn open a channel to myself in the Dragon Slayer. That power you feel is his power, pouring through the ether and into that spot. If you're familiar with ley lines, it's the same basic concept. Okay, so he can make ley lines now. Awesome, okay. No, teacher, not bad at all. Pretty good, ain't it? Never heard another shaman do something like this. We must have really made an impression. Anyway, boss, I want to keep fiddling with this, learn how to properly control it, and I'm sure you've got things to do as well. You take care of what else needs doing. By our next run, I'll be ready to use this. Sounds good. Take care, Dietrich. You too, boss. Oh, good stuff. We should talk to everybody, actually. Let's talk to... I'm going to make a habit of checking in with everyone after each run. So, Iger, what's up? What have you got to say about this Humanis thing? She's cleaning her gun. Our fearless leader returns. What do you need? Okay. You said you had concerns about me. I'd like you to voice them. Alright, if that's what you want. You're green, TJ Hooker. Too green to lead this team. That's my professional assessment, and yeah, I'm concerned about the situation. You can alleviate these concerns by doing your job, and doing it well. The only thing that'll fix this is time. I'm not gonna let history repeat itself, TJ Hooker. Won't happen on my watch. Okay, well... What sure are you talking about, Iger? Let's say I've had bad luck with underexperienced teammates and leave it at that. So there's something else you want to talk about? Or can I get back to cleaning my rifle? I'd like to hear about your time in the KSK, Iger. No, I'm not having to share war stories, TJ Hooker. Not with people who've never served. Oh, well... It doesn't have to be a war story. I just want a better idea of who I'm running with, Iger. Alright, TJ Hooker. You win. I owe everything to my time in the KSK, from my street name on down. So, you tell me what you want to know, and we'll see where this goes. Okay. Tell me about your team, Iger. Fair enough. I guess you've earned it. There were 8 of us, 2 commando squads working together as a single unit. Schmidt and Lange were combat techers. Wolf was our rigger and combat engineer. Fisher handled demolitions. Braun was a medic. And the rest of us, Metzger, Kruger, and myself, were weapons experts. Our mission was extraterritorial, technically illegal, but important enough to justify the risk. We've been sitting across the border into Poland. The Russian mafia had set up a cottage industry and human trafficking all along the Oder-Nest line. It was our job to disrupt it. Oh, if I had etiquette and security, I would know that this sounds more like a police action than a military operation. So, why were you doing this? But, go on, Iger. We were a good team. Experienced. We went through a lot together, and we chalked up a lot of kills. In our own way, I'd like to think that we did some good. Okay, well tell me how you got your street name, Iger. Well, back when I was in basic training, a fellow recruit made a vulgar joke at my expense. He said I reminded him of the north face of the Eiger in the Bernese Alps. Huge and beautiful, but dangerous to climb. His tone left little doubt as to what sort of climbing he had in mind. I think he was trying to proposition me in his clumsy way, poking me in front of the other recruits to try to provoke a reaction. Anyway, he got one. I broke 3 of his ribs, and the name stuck. Served him right. You might actually mean that, but then you may be just trying to get on my good side. Okay, no, don't flatter yourself. I couldn't care less whether you like me or not, Iger. Good, that's the right attitude. But be careful not to take it too far. You may not need your team's approval, but you do need its respect. Out in the field, nothing will kill you faster than losing the respect of your team. So, that's good advice anywhere. Out in the field, or here in the chat. By that logic, I should have broken your ribs after Monica died. In your place, I would have. Huh. Not that you've succeeded if you tried, but in terms of saving face, it would have done wonders. Maybe I should have done that. In all seriousness, TJ Hooker, I'm sorry I put you in that position. I shouldn't have, and I acknowledge that. Need anything else, or can I go back to prepping for our next run? What happened to the team, Iger? No. No. That's one story I won't be telling. They died. That's all you need to know. Okay, well, I've changed my mind then. Let's just drop it. We're done here. Any thoughts about the last run, though? After all the more ambiguity we've been waiting through, hitting Humanis was incredibly satisfying. What they had planned, it makes my blood boil just thinking about it. The thoughts of Stahl lying dead in the ground brings a smile to my face. I hope he enjoys rotting in hell. Thanks, Iger. Oh, what a good note to leave on. Okay, here's a moment of truth. Glory, are you... Yeah, Glory, you're alive! Yay! How you doing, Glory? TJ Hooker. A pleasure, as always. Need anything from me? If I didn't know any better, I think you were warming up to me. I suppose you might say that. I don't talk to many people, TJ Hooker. It just doesn't seem to be worth the effort. I don't really feel much anymore. Not since this. The Chrome. If that's true, why are you still talking to me? I suppose because you've shown an interest, and because you haven't let me push you away. I don't want to mislead you, TJ Hooker. I still don't feel anything. Not warmth, or friendship, or even trust. But I can appreciate the effort you're making. It's something new, and it's worthy of exploring. Okay. Are you ready to tell me about the Chrome? I'm getting there, TJ Hooker. You have to give me some time. The answers will come when they do. Okay. I'd like you to keep going from where you left off. No, I'd rather not. Why not? I don't see a reason to. Memories are unpleasant, and treasuring enough doesn't serve any real purpose. But, no, last time we talked, it had an impact. There's a reason enough to continue. I suppose that's true. Feeling discomfort is better than feeling nothing at all. Alright, here's the deal, TJ Hooker. I'm going to talk. You listen. When I'm done, I'm done. No complaints and no arguments, and we'll see what happens. Deal? Deal. Right. Okay. The 1,000-meter stare creeps back. She's locked in her own head. Read the memories she long since filed away. So a few days after my 14th birthday, I began to express, magically. Oh god. Go on, Glory. Okay, she's now becoming more animated. Anyway, I turned 14. I awakened. I don't even remember how my parents found out about it anymore. I think my dad caught me playing with a tiny city spirit I coaxed out of a pile of garbage, something like that. With everything that happened afterwards, those days are kind of a blur. What I do remember is my father's response to the revelation this little girl is a witch, a hex. He beat the living shit out of me with his fists, and then his belt, and then a claw hammer he grabbed out of his toolbox. All the while, my mother was screaming and flailing at him. She took a couple licks of the hammer, too. Well, it's a miracle you survived. Didn't anyone call the police? Oh, sure they did. Our neighbors were perfectly decent people. Even if they couldn't admit it to themselves, they knew what my father was up to. When they heard a woman and a little girl screaming bloody murder, they were the first to pick up the comm. Unfortunately, police response times can leave a little something to be desired. I assume they showed up eventually, but I'll never know. I was out of there well before anyone showed up to intervene, but we'll get to that in a second. So finally, after what felt like an hour, Dad stopped tuning me up with the hammer. I had broken ribs, a busted arm, I couldn't see out of my left eye, and my entire right side was covered with one giant bruise. I was bleeding all over the place, making a real mess of the carpet. The old bastard spat on me. His bleeding, crying daughter. He spat on me and told me I was Dace Tufil's hair. The devil's whore. Then he kicked me out of the house. As I was crawling away, my father told me if he or any of his cruise ritter brothers ever saw me again, they'd treat me as the Berlin chapter treats the enemies of God. If you're not familiar with how the cruise ritters here in Berlin deal with heretics, it's decidedly less pretty than what my dad and his buddies did to their victims. I got the hint, and the next morning I get to ride out of Stuttgart. Well, you... gutsy move. You were a smart kid. Not that smart. We'll get to that in a minute. I wound up in Tübingen. I wound up in Tübingen. I figured it'd be a safe enough place to get medical attention and maybe call home. It's not far from Stuttgart, but it has a huge student community that I figured I could blend into, and the university there has a decent magic department. My ride dropped me off at the university hospital, and they patched me up pretty good. Had some questions for me about how I got so beaten up, but I lied and told them I'd been mugged, which played nicely into my complete lack of cash, credit, and identification. We're gonna fast forward through the next few years. I was a kid on the street. Oh no, okay, so he's visibly tense. I got by best I could, doing whatever I had to. The rest we leave up to your imagination. Good? I see. Now the game I work in the shadows is unfamiliar with that kind of thing. I get it. I figured you'd understand. So anyway, I lived on the street for a few years. Got used to being hungry all the time, got used to being rained on, got by. I was painfully aware that I had magical talents, but without any kind of training or guidance, I didn't really know how to use or develop them. Truth be told, they scared me, so I more or less ignored them. So it just sort of went like that until a few days after my 17th birthday. Then I met Marta, and everything changed. Marta was a sweet girl. At first I took her for a street kid like me. Her clothes were a little ratty, and she seemed comfortable being near me. But she also looked well-fed and happy, and those were two things I hadn't been in years. We started hanging out, and before I knew it was happening, I was in love. There was a genuine attraction between Marta and me, I think. But I also think a lot of my affection for her came from the fact she was the first person in years to give a damn about me. She cared, and I loved her for that. Glory pauses. She looks flustered, her composure cracked. Keep going, Glory. Okay. Marta told me about a place where she'd be hanging out. She invited me to join her there. It was called Feuerstel at the Fireplace. It was a sort of commune for dispossessed youth. It turned out that a lot of the street kids I'd known over the years had moved there. The way they disappeared, I'd assumed they'd been kidnapped or killed or had gone back to their parents. But there they were. I remember being kind of angry about it, like, how did everybody get the memo about this but me? Marta calmed me down. She was good at helping me work through my feelings, and I wound up following her to the Feuerstel. To a street kid, it was basically paradise. The owner, a guy named Harrow, had set up this little farm just outside Tübingen in the Schönbuck forest. The Schönbuck is officially a nature park, but not many people go there nowadays. Too much fear of paranormal animals, I guess. Anyway, park or not, it was plenty big enough for us to hide in. It was also safe and pretty, and the farm was well stocked with food. More importantly, Feuerstel gave us a sense of community and stability we'd never had on the street, and we loved Harrow for that. He became like a surrogate father to us. Oh no. That doesn't seem good. Because that seems like it's going nowhere good. That's enough for now. I need to process all this. I don't want to continue forward until I've had a chance to do that. I know that this all happened years ago, but I guess it's still pretty raw to me. So I'm going to ask to give you... I know this all happened years ago, but I guess it's still pretty raw to me. So I guess I'm going to ask if you... fucking... Oh, I can't read. I know this all happened years ago, but I guess it's still pretty raw to me. So I guess I'm going to ask you to give me some space for a while. We can pick it back up later. Okay. Well, I guess that's all the talking we're going to get out of her. She just kind of drifted out of that one. We already talked to Dietrich. Let's see if the Blitz has anything new to say. Even though he didn't come on this last mission, maybe he has an opinion. We might as well hear it. So what do you got to say, Blitz? Oh, geez, how does he talk? Blitz. TJ Hooker. I was hoping I'd see you. You have another run lined up for us yet? I'm strapped for cash. Oh, don't worry, we're doing fine on the job front. Ansel's been working overtime. Okay, hang on. Why the hell are you strapped for cash? You should be rolling a new yen right now. What can I say, Chief? I have expensive taste. Okay, how expensive are we talking here? Even if you have a raging cram habit, I think you'd have at least some money left. Expensive. Truth be told, I'm in debt. To who? Blitz? No offense, but this is getting a little too personal, Chief. My debt's none of your business. Okay, if some bookie sends his thugs here looking for you, it's gonna become my business, so talk, Blitz. Alright, fine. First off, you don't need to worry about anyone coming after me. My debts are to a bunch of old contacts. If I don't pay them, I'm gonna lose them. And in this line of work, it isn't smart to burn bridges. Second, before you ask, those debts are for for services rendered. And I was in a tight spot, I needed some help, and I threw around a lot of IOUs to get it. Third, and finally, the trouble I was in involved a girl. I'll tell you about it if you ask me to, but we're verging deep into personal feelings territory, so if you don't want to hear me sob over my ex-girlfriend, you'll drop the subject now. I do want to hear that, actually, Blitz. I want to hear that very much. Okay, well, you're clearly preoccupied with this, Blitz. In our line of work, preoccupied can get you killed. Yeah, spit it out. Tell me all about it. Alright, where to begin? I met Emily in Dragonfall. She was the first person who was ever more important to me than myself. I was crazy about her, Chief. This day, she's the only person I've ever met who could out-deck me. And the real kicker, she wasn't even a decker by trade. There was nothing she wasn't good at. I like to dabble in rigging, but Emily, that girl could pick up anything she set her mind to. Okay, well, sounds like a hell of a girl. Yeah. She made things right. No matter how stupid I was, no matter what I got myself into, she made it right. I don't think much of many people, Chief. Emotional attachments aren't really my thing. Love seems like a diluted word these days, so I won't waste it on Emily. Let's just say, she was important to me. And then I lost her. I didn't know what was happening. Came out of nowhere. One day she was just gone. Along with most of my decking gear. The only explanation was a handwritten note on old-fashioned paper. Leave me alone. That was it. That was it. We'd been together for years, and that was all she left me. That and this beat-up old cyberdeck. Naturally, I freaked. He's turning into a Southern Belle. Oh. Naturally, I freaked. We'd had a share of arguments, but we never had a huge blowout or anything. I couldn't think of anything we'd drive her to do a thing like that. Mostly, I felt hurt. So I searched for her. In the real world and in the Matrix, and I turned up nothing. I started tapping my contacts. And that was when I started racking up debt. Oh geez, so did you find her? No. She's gone, TJ Hooker. Without a trace. I looked high, I looked low. I poked in at everything I could think of, and my contacts did the same. She's gone, Chief. At this point, I've accepted that. But I still have to repay those debts. I'm surprised you've given up. Alright, well, I feel for you. No, I'm surprised you've given up. There must be someplace you haven't looked, Blitz. Well, I don't know, TJ Hooker. I really did look everywhere. And at great personal cost. That means that much to you. You owe it to yourself to try, Blitz. Yeah. Yeah, you may be right. Fuck. I thought I was done with this. But you're right. Without some kind of closure, I'm never going to be at peace with this. Thanks for the talk, Chief. I'll let you know how it goes. Well, you do that, Blitz. Good luck. Please don't. Oh, you could be a total dick about it and say please don't. Wow. Well, that seems like a good place to stop off, folks. Next step, we've checked in with everybody. We've talked the Blitz into tracking down his ex-girlfriend, so hopefully something comes of that. We're gonna give Dante some pets. Partly because next episode, we're gonna go to that meet that I was gonna do before I went on the Humanis job, and we're gonna bring Dante with us for extra added security, because the dog at your side you're still coming alone. You just brought your dog with you, and no one's gonna fuck with TJ with this big ass dog next to him. But until then, though, I've been John. This has been Shadowrun Dragonfall, and I hope to see you guys next time when we come back to TJ and the crew. But until then, thank you everybody for watching.